This video is the final part of an incredible 4-part series discussing what many are calling the new normal in retirement. And for those of you that are interested in a really in-depth study of this, we also put together a 40-minute full presentation that goes over the entire new normal retirement from start to finish. But there's a ton of information to digest in that 40-minute video, so feel free to enjoy these 4 separate videos on your own time schedule, one at a time. Now let's quickly go over what you will learn in this video. In this 4th and final video of 4, you will learn about one of the least understood, not to mention the majority of Americans don't even know they're losing money to this every year, retirement killers in this new normal retirement, which are hidden fees inside of your 401k. You will be shocked to learn that you might be paying in excess of 6 figures in total fees to Wall Street over your lifetime, regardless if your 401k does well or if it ends up looking like a 201k. Now, this video and the accompanying free report will give a huge exposure to the fees that you are currently paying and even help you come away with a very good understanding of what you should look for, along with how you can prepare and even prevent these fees. Here is a startling statistic. According to a 2011 AARP survey, 71% of people with 401ks didn't even know they were paying fees for their retirement accounts. So what are these fees and how much do they really cost you? The answer might shock you. Fees can, on average, reduce your 401k balance by up to 30%, and that's regardless if you have $1 or $1 million in that retirement account. And what are these fees that are taking such a big bite out of your retirement account? Well, actually, there's 4 kinds. There's administrative fees, there's marketing fees, sometimes called 12B1 fees, and investment management fees, and then, of course, trading costs. So you may wonder, is 30% a big deal? Of course it is. Let's take a look at an example on the next slide to see just what impact these fees could have on your 401k balance. Okay, let's put some real numbers to this. This hypothetical example illustrates an average 2-earner household where the combined earnings is around $50,000 to $70,000 a year over the course of 40 years, basically working from 25 to age 65. Now, this couple, unlike most Americans, consistently saves between 5 to 9% of their salaries each and every year and puts that money into a 401k account, gradually increasing their annual contributions over time. And also, atypically, they have never having to withdraw from this account. So they invest their 401k account equally in a stock mutual fund and a bond mutual fund, each of which charges average market fees. Now, for such a household, 401k fees will cost $155,000 over a lifetime, which leaves a couple with about $350,000 in 401k income at retirement. Now, that might sound like a pretty good amount, but if the couple spends this nest egg at that 4% annual rate recommended by many financial advisors out there, they will have a mere $14,000 per year to supplement their Social Security benefits. Not exactly a king's ransom. However, sadly, $350,000 is by far more than what most Americans actually save in their retirement accounts. According to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the average household approaching retirement has only $100,000 in total retirement savings among all of their accounts. How many of you watching this today are okay with losing up to 30% of the money you have worked so hard to save and set aside for retirement and fees? It seems like a steep price to pay for investment management, doesn't it? So many individuals that we tell this are shocked by the amount of money they lose in fees in these type of accounts. So you're probably wondering what your other options are besides just keeping your fingers crossed that you aren't paying too much in fees and that your 401k will be around as long as you are. Not to mention, if you're in the minority of Americans that understand just how much you might be losing to fees each year, how can you sit idle and not do anything about it? What comes to mind when you think of the safest place in the world? I'm sure that most of you agree with me that the answer is always home. So how I explain the process of putting together a solid retirement plan is referred to the process as building your retirement financial house. In building this financial house, we need to build it together one brick at a time. So here's a question for you. When you build a house, what would be the very first thing that you would build? Of course, it's the foundation, right? And why is that? You build the foundation to support the rest of the house so that it doesn't fall down. We have to take care of that foundation first. So in the retirement/financial planning world, there are certain things that we can use to build that same secure, guaranteed foundation. Now, of course, everyone is different. And when faced with putting together their financial house, people will have their very own taste, and many, of course, want different styles. In building a house, each individual will have their own plan. Some of you might want a ranch with everything all on one level, just nice and simple, nothing fancy. Others might want a little more sophistication and want their house to have layers and levels, maybe a little bit fancier. But one thing I can sure we all agree on is that in retirement, we need a safe, guaranteed foundation that you can rely on to supply you the income that you will need to live on the remainder of your years after you stop working. What most people don't realize is that there are so many choices to choose from when it comes to your retirement assets in regards to your 401k. And ever since the Enron scandal, hardly any employers are forcing their employees to invest in company stock. Moreover, most plan administrators of these 401ks have a pretty decent selection of options to choose from for you. So that's good news. And more recently, our very own government has even become involved in 401k plans by urging plan administrators to introduce retirement vehicles like annuities inside of the actual 401k. So it appears that even our own government, who's usually 2 steps slower to get things done, can see the major flaws in this defined contribution 401k system. Many have finally come to the conclusion that 401ks are far inferior to pensions, and rarely will 401ks actually create a lifetime income stream for the majority of Americans. And for the plans that won't actually let you invest directly into retirement income solutions like annuities, many of them will let you transfer a certain amount out into an individual qualified annuity with no taxable event. But of course, always consult a CPA or a tax specialist before ever taking any withdrawals out of your 401k. So how can you learn more to make sure that your hard-earned retirement assets will be there when you need them and ensure that you will never outlive those assets? One type of account that has been increasingly popular and suitable for many individuals at or near retirement is the fixed indexed annuity, and I'm going to tell you why. So before you stop this video and say, I know about those, or some advisor tried to sell me one of those and they stink, or my CPA told me to stay far away from fixed index annuities, please just watch a few more slides, as there are quite a few very important things that the media, including your CPA or attorney, who seem to be the least educated about these annuities, just don't know. Now let me ask you this question. If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you had a guaranteed paycheck that was going to show up in your bank account every month like clockwork, and you knew that you could count on this money to cover the basics like food, shelter, clothing, electric, golf, no matter what, how would that make you feel? Safe? Of course it would. That would help ease your fear of not having the funds to live on the rest of your life in the manner in which you become accustomed and deserve after all your years of hard work, right? This is just one of the securities that a fixed indexed annuity can provide. With a fixed index annuity, you can also eliminate market risk. Your nest egg is never put at risk due to downturns in the stock market. Also, your gains are automatically locked in and posted directly to your account. You never give back any gains if the market goes down in later years. Finally, you can create a contractually guaranteed private pension income stream that will last at least as long as you do, if not longer, and even put it in place for your spouse, which many older pensions can't even do. First, understand that there are good annuities and bad annuities, just like any other product or service that you might buy. So when I hear someone say they've never buy another annuity because of the poor performance or the high fees they experience with the annuity they had owned, I have the same reaction if I heard someone say they never buy another car because they had a bad experience with a lemon they previously owned. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not sure if all of you have been hearing what is being said regarding annuities in the media, but they have become much more popular in recent years, which is mainly due to the innovations in how they are structured and the type of opportunities and protections that they can provide. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, Washington, D.C. is now looking into how annuities can be used to create a more secure retirement for Americans. This includes making it easier to utilize annuities inside of 401ks and IRAs, because having that guaranteed floor underneath to protect your principal is a very attractive feature. It can afford investors the freedom to position other parts of their portfolios more towards longer-term growth as a potential hedge against inflation, so that they have a better chance of their assets outlasting their retirement. In fact, given so much uncertainty with the economy and the possible negative effect it could have on the safety of retirement assets, it's no wonder investors are finding the new generation of fixed indexed annuities so appealing. Now, is an annuity right for you? No one investment is right for everyone. There are individuals that annuities are a perfect fit for with their retirement planning strategies, and others that it might not be the correct vehicle they are looking for to place some of their retirement savings in. So make sure to read these two columns here. The first one with the yes, meaning suitable. And if you can answer yes to all these statements as they pertain to you, then a fixed index annuity could be a good fit. Next, look over that not suitable column. Make sure to read each one carefully. Now, if those resonate more with you, and if those particular situations fit your needs and your lifetime savings needs, then maybe you probably don't need one. Once again, annuities can't be a fit for everybody. Now let's talk for a minute about what makes the fixed indexed annuity a definite possibility as a piece to your financial puzzle. Let's look at this hypothetical example. This chart is for illustration purposes only, first of all, and it's not indicative of past nor intended to predict future performance of any indexed or any annuity product. In this illustration, it does show the potential performance of a fixed indexed annuity during a 14-year cycle. Now that red line indicates how fluctuations of those invested actually in the stock market in the S&P 500 have done to those same 14 years. Now, as you can see, the red line experienced both growth and loss. And many of you probably have accounts that have looked just like this over the years. Is that fair to say? Of course it is. Now, in looking at the chart, you will see the line indicating the fixed indexed annuity up in green. As you will see in years when the stock market had increases, the fixed indexed annuity generated interest credits. Each year, the indexed annuity's interest credits are protected and will not be lost due to potential future drops in the market to which it is linked. A closer look at this chart shows that when the market decreased, the value of the fixed indexed annuity differed from the monies directly invested in the S&P 500. In those down years, the value of the fixed indexed annuity remained the same as shown prior to that decrease. So you didn't earn any interest, but you also didn't lose. The principal and any previously gained interest are protected from loss due to downside market fluctuations as long as there are no withdrawals in excess of the free withdrawal amount. In future years, if the annuity value goes up, those credits will be locked in again and protected from any potential direct market loss. And as a quick disclaimer, again, this is for hypothetical and educational purposes only, although it does accurately represent historical performance, but it is not indicative or indicate similar future performance in the future. And finally, annuities are products of the insurance industry, and guarantees are backed by the claims paying ability of the issuing company. Now, besides the great features of eliminating market risk and the ability of locking in your gains with a fixed index annuity, they also provide some really great benefits, which include tax-deferred growth of principal, potential for index-linked interest, it can avoid probate, penalty-free access, and of course that ability to receive pension-like lifetime income. There's also triple compounding. It's what Albert Einstein once referred to. The concept of triple compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. And what it means is you get interest on your principal, you get interest on your interest, and you get interest on your tax saving because, of course, your interest is free from current income tax in an annuity. Some other tax deferral benefits. The funds, of course, grow tax deferred. You pay no taxes while the money is compounding, so you don't get any 1099. It helps provide control over your taxes, and you can help reduce taxes on Social Security benefits. I really love this thought-provoking quote from Mark Twain as he referenced to market volatility and the safety of his hard-earned dollars. He says, "I'm not concerned about the return on my money as the return of my money." And that's really how we should all be thinking here in retirement. It's so simple, yet so true in today's volatile environment. Another question we hear about fixed index annuities is, why hasn't my current broker not mentioned them to me? And why hasn't your employer, your 401k administrator, brought them to your attention? That is because they're an insurance product and not an investment. And if you didn't know, Wall Street does not market insurance products. When you purchase an indexed annuity, you are not putting your money at risk. They are safe money products. In the brokerage world, they market investment products like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Therefore, it is not in Wall Street's best interest to promote indexed annuities because there's not really any profit in it for the brokers or the fund managers on Wall Street. In fact, they will usually try to bash the indexed annuity industry, placing Wall Street's interest and commissions above client needs. It's kind of considered taboo that you should choose to insure a portion of your retirement assets using an indexed annuity because there's no profit to be made for those fund managers, and most times they're not even allowed to sell them. And let me ask you, after what was exposed about Wall Street during the financial crisis, how much trust do you have in them doing what is best for your client? Along the same lines, after the past 4 years of banner stock market returns in a very somewhat manipulated market, would you say the changes are getting better or worse? The chances are getting better or worse that we experience another bear market next. No bull market lasts that long, and many positive years have always, without exception, been followed by a period of the market going down. And the longer this current bull market lasts, the better the chances that we will have another recessionary time. Now, are you currently prepared and protected today if it occurred tomorrow? However, the irony is that many of the largest investment firms are finally starting to talk about and find ways to sell these fixed index annuities. And as we mentioned earlier, even the White House is getting involved in urging 401k plans to start offering annuities like these inside of their plans. Have you heard the old expression, never gamble what you can't afford to lose? This holds especially true in dealing with the safety of the funds that you have set aside to live on in retirement. In today's volatile economy, it is important to have a choice for safe and secure place to help ensure that the funds will last as long as you do. When it comes to dealing with losses in the market relating to retirement funds, are you aware that $2.3 trillion was lost in the market collapse in 2008? And did you also know that of that staggering amount, not one dime was lost in principal and money that was invested in fixed index annuities? How's that for safety? Why risk having your 401k turned back into a 201k again? You owe it to yourself to carefully consider your time horizon. Will you have enough time to recapture lost gains in the event of another market downturn? And if not, what kind of effect would it have on your retirement and the money you're counting to sustain you in your golden years? Now, here's what we need to do next. Download the free report and find out the retirement secret that many of the wealthiest and most successful Americans are already taking advantage of to protect their retirement nest eggs from hidden 401k fees and charges. It was written exclusively for baby boomers and retirees by a highly sought-after retirement writer and contains some incredible insight and solutions to this potential retirement killer known as hidden fees in your 401k. It only takes seconds to download, so don't hesitate, and it's yours to keep. We hope you enjoyed this eye-opening report, and as always, we wish you the very best in life and in retirement. You deserve nothing less. And as always, everything in this video is strictly educational, and the creators do not give any advice whatsoever. Always consult a retirement income specialist before ever buying an annuity, and consult a tax specialist before ever making any withdrawals or changes to your 401k. This video is not sufficient enough to make any final decisions or changes.